Hey guys, it's Cho, and I'm back with another video. Today we are of course still talking about the Dermastart sunscreen scandal. I want to start this video off by reiterating what I've already said in the previous video. Wait, I want to give this brand the benefit of the doubt because this is just so egregious to me that there has to be an explanation. There has to be some way that they're not really culpable for what it appears to be. Okay? Like, leave a little bit of space before you do the witch hunt to give them the benefit of the doubt. Dr. Julian's video that has gone somewhat viral now has some pretty severe implications. I understand that. However, it's not my intention to fearmonger, to stir up people into a craze or a frenzy. I think that it's important to evaluate the information that we have in front of us, the contextual information that I'm going to explain a little bit today, and then allow ourselves to ask pertinent questions as consumers. Listen, I always will support anything that will empower consumers to feel confident about the purchases they make and the brands and influencers that they support. And I think that having a discussion about this is really important. And to be quite frank, I don't care if we're talking about a small indie brand or a gigantic corporation, big brand. You know, I think that all consumers deserve the best and honesty and transparency. And I'm always going to work to try to provide that on everyone else's behalf. Now, obviously, if you have not watched the previous video, you need to stop this video right now and go back because this is becoming a series. And I don't know how many videos I'll end up doing on this matter, but definitely check them out in chronological order. Today, we're going to be taking a deeper dive into Dermastart as a brand overall and provide some important contextual information that could lead a consumer to potentially not trust this brand. And then also, you know, there's a lot of negative, but there's also a piece of positive information that I gathered from someone that I think really is an important piece of the conversation in defense of this brand. So we're going to get into all of that. We're going to start off with the bad, and I'm going to be reading a lot from my script because I really want to be very accurate as I report this. This section of the video is inspired by several conversations I've had over the last several days, from cosmetic chemists to dermatologists to community members to influencers. I've talked to a lot of different people, but I really want to give a special shout out to Tony, aka Capricornium. Let me put his information right here. He put in a lot of effort into educating me on some different regulatory information, and he's also done somewhat of an Instagram story about this matter that I'll be referencing throughout this video. I know he would not say this or consider himself to be an expert, but I really do think that Tony is one of the most valuable content creators in the skincare space. So do me and yourself a big favor and go follow him, okay? So I'm gonna list off, there's so many red flags with this brand, Dermastart. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but when you scratch the surface and get a little bit below that, there's a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit, okay? Starting with their lack of an NDC listing, which let me bring up the T on this side, which is basically a code given by the FDA to drugs, aka a sunscreen. And I have a link in the description box below of how to use their listing directory and what that number means, what it really entails. As always, check the description box below for all of my resources. I always list them. Now, this does not mean that they don't have an NDC number, okay? There could be many reasons why they don't have one. However, upon the posting of this video, I cannot think of a very plausible reason why the FDA would give them a special waiver to not have an NDC number. It just doesn't make sense to me. I've also heard that they're deleting comments from consumers. Now, this is never a good thing because it shows a lack of transparency. However, again, as of the posting of this video, they have not deleted my comment, which was, I think, very professional. but pointed at them, urging them to make a public statement about the scandal. So I don't know. I get mixed reactions there, but I believe people when they tell me that they're deleting comments. That's just not my experience. Also, I want to say, I don't think people know this, but this is not the first time someone has criticized the brand for this specific issue, okay? There was a lot of concern about the performance and efficacy of the sunscreen before this scandal blew up. I'll post a couple screenshots for you to view. Please pause the video if you want to read them in depth, or just go onto Amazon and look them up yourself, because I found them on Amazon. It's public information. But the idea that Julian's implications are reckless or without any merit at all is absolutely preposterous.
Are we going to talk or are we going to talk? Okay.
These reviews and these claims and implications have been going on with this brand since 2015, as far as I can go by. So they've had issues like this for at least a decade. So the idea that like Julian pulled this out of his ass is just preposterous. Sorry, it's ridiculous. He's not the first one to question this brand, and I know there was like some questions about what if Dermastart sued him for defamation. Well, are they gonna also sue the hundreds of customers that have said similar things like, oh, I don't think this sunscreen is performing like a sunscreen, or I don't know if it has any SPF in it. Come on, that's ridiculous, guys. Come on, wake up. Also, there's this unsettling disclosure that I found on the website. How in the world are they selling a sunscreen, which is a drug, if they have not been approved by the FDA or reviewed by the FDA? You can find this disclosure on the bottom of their page, and it says, these statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, blah, blah, blah. Very weird. Another claim, and I'm gonna just run through this list really quickly, is that they have 12% zinc, and some of the cosmetic chemists I have spoken to, and again, this is all for debate, I'm not an expert, but they say that this would have difficulty reaching the advertised SPF of 45. Weird. Also, their inky lists on the website are not standardized at all. And there's also some debate in my DMs on whether a nano zinc would actually show up through the UV light. And I think overall, people have concluded that yes, no matter how small the particle size is, it should still show up. Again, this is all up for debate. I'm not an expert. I'm a Joe Schmo average type of guy. I'm not that smart, so I don't know. I'm just presenting you the different sides and the different nuances in this argument. And then for all the Poindexters, listen, the Poindexters are out there. But Chow, this would never get past the FDA. They would never let something like this happen. They had to do third-party testing. The FDA wouldn't have anything like this happen. You're wrong.
Oh my God.
Don't act shocked.
You're wrong. Because look here. A brand was just busted. They were just busted for this exact scandal. So it's not far-fetched to believe that this could happen with another brand, okay? So precedence is not on Dermastart's side, as we're reminded constantly that brands are often scamming consumers. Now, I know it doesn't look good for Dermastart. However, there is some good news, and I'm gonna always report the nuance and the different opinions and give my own personal take. I've been speaking to an esthetician who I have a great amount of respect for. They are very lovely, they are very personable, they are very professional, but I do need to maintain their anonymity. Is that a word? I need to keep them anonymous. So I'm going to do that. But they were very comfortable with me sharing their experience. I'm going to look at my notes very closely because I do not want to mischaracterize what they have said about this brand, okay? They have very sun-sensitive skin. And they've been using this product for a little bit, and they've never been burned, okay? They have very sun-sensitive skin. They've never been burned. And their clients have also raved about the sensorial experience. They've been very happy, and they also believe that the sunscreen is working as intended. So now, despite those very positive overall experiences, this esthetician still had some reservations about the product due to how sheer it was. So yes, the sensorial experience was fantastic, but they were kind of like, how could it be so good despite being a mineral sunscreen? They also experienced some pigment flaring, is the word they used, while using it, and some slight burning upon application. And so this has caused the esthetician to kind of take a step back and reevaluate if this is a product they want to provide for their clientele, until further comments come out from the brand itself with some confirmations. Side note to Dermastart, this might continue to happen to you. The longer you wait to make a statement, the more estheticians are going to pull out of your brand. So, chop chop, okay? But overall, I think this piece of anecdotal evidence is very important to the conversation, because I find it very hard to believe that people have been using this sunscreen and have not been burning. To me, that is some type of anecdotal, contextual evidence showing that there is some amount of SPF in it. And you know, there's a bunch of people, big mouth people, who have never used the sunscreen before. I'm one of those people, okay? Who's talking about a sunscreen they've never used. So I think taking into account some of the anecdotal experiences of people is very, very important here, and I want that to be a part of the discussion because that's a big defense of the brand. Now, where do we go from here? Dermastart is taking their time with the public comment, and I spoke to someone that is close to the situation, and they revealed to me that you know, this is very important to them. This is a high stakes game for them, and this is their livelihood. They don't take this lightly, and you know, they have to make sure that they can provide as much information without breaking any laws and staying out of legal trouble as possible. So while I understand the need to take their time and to really craft a message, I think I would still appreciate some form of acknowledgement that, hey, we're getting ready to drop, you know, some comments or some clarifications, you know, anything to, you know, ease consumers' concerns and let them know that we are being listened to. I drafted an example right here. Example PR statement. We see the comments and are working with our team to give our loyal clientele the detailed response that they deserve. Expect a thorough explanation in the coming days. That's all y'all need to do. That's all y'all needed to do in order to get ahead of this and to not let things fester and let people come up with more speculations and more speculations. Get ahead of it. Who's on your PR team? Fire them.
This is what I mean when I say you don't think.
I'm thinking.
You don't think.
I'm thinking.
Okay? Now, at the end of the day, I'm rooting for the brand to come out on the winning side here, because for Dermastart to fail would mean that consumers will potentially lose trust not only in their estheticians, but also in general sunscreen efficacy. And I don't think the skincare world and community needs that. So we're still waiting for a public statement. If you guys want me to cover that, if it ever happens, leave a comment down below in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are on this situation right now. And be sure to like the video, or you'll find out that your favorite sunscreen doesn't have any SPF in it. Bye.